Work it in, work it out, work it up. Work it all the way down, tear it up. Work it in, work it out, work it up. Work it all the way down, tear it up.
Welcome to Conversation Pace. Conversation Pace is our new television show. We strive to get everybody up and running, literally. We love giving recognition to both accomplished coaches and runners. We also love to motivate couch potatoes, but how do we do that? We show people that life is better when your body is better. We show people that fitness is not to be feared, and we show that no matter how out of shape you think you are, you can always get fit and maintain a healthy lifestyle. I'm Dr. Jen. I'm a vascular surgeon in New York City. Yeah. I'm a runner. I'm a solid and very proud middle-of-the-pack runner, but I love it. I maintain a very active and fit lifestyle, and I like to bring that to my patients, my friends, and my families. Coach Marlin is here. Coach, Coach Marlin is the founder and leader of a new Brooklyn running club. It's been on the scene for 2 years, gaining a lot of notoriety. Lean, strong, fast. And Coach is here with a lot of his runners. We're going to hear some more from him. And we have Bay Oma here. Everybody in New York knows Bay. We love Bay. Yeah, she's an amazing runner, has a lot of experience, and has shared a lot of wisdom with all of us, including me. So let's start with you, Coach Marlin. Tell us a little bit about your club.
All right, my club is called Team Lean Strong Fast. We're a Brooklyn-based running group. We train mostly for long distance, marathons, half marathons. We have a couple of triathletes in there. Okay. I founded the group about 2 years ago when I was on my way for my personal run, and thanks to the power of social media, I mentioned, I'm going for a run at, 4 p.m. Anybody want to join? And then when I showed up for the run, there were like 20 people there.
Wow, that's amazing.
From that kind of gave me the idea that, maybe there's some other people who will be interested in following kind of like my philosophy and stuff.
So what is your philosophy? What's the philosophy for your club?
Well, my philosophy is a little bit of everything is going to be like perfect. And one of my biggest backgrounds in fitness is strength training. So part of my philosophy is very strict strength training to supplement and to help the running.
Who belongs to Lean Strong Fast?
Who belongs? We have about 65 members currently locally in New York and about 100 around the country.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have from mid-20s up to low 60s, various levels. We have one little kid also too now.
Where do you guys run? Do you run mostly?
We train mostly we meet mostly at Grand Army Plaza in Prospect Park. Yeah, and from there, depending on the run, we do our speed sessions inside the park. Okay. Our easy pace run in the park, and our long run we do route from week to week. Sometimes we go to the city and back. Or
tell me about your team that you brought to the Chicago Marathon. A lot of us here today. A lot of us ran Chicago. I ran Chicago. I ran it with my husband. Bay ran Chicago. And I know, Coach ran it with a lot of his runners, a lot of who were first-time marathoners, I think.
Yeah.
What was the theme when you were training your first-time marathoners so they could get to the line healthy?
The theme for them, like I literally tell them, like, don't look too far ahead in your training. And I literally give them their training program 1 week at a time. So they don't look ahead and just think one day at a time is a little easier to swallow than when you look way ahead, you're like, wow, got 15 more weeks.
Yeah,
so,
daunting, very daunting.
So I try to give them 1 week at a time, and just so in their mind mentally, they know I could get to this next, I could get through this next program. And so just to give them just to not overwhelm them like too early. And then when it was time, just to, just keep reminding them that everything they've done already is just what they have to do one more day.
Exactly. It's the final long run.
Yeah, just one more run.
Long run.
Yeah.
I know Bay ran Chicago last
Yeah.
year, and I know you ran it again this year. Was it a different race this year? The weather, I think, was a lot better this year, wasn't it?
I actually enjoyed both years.
Yeah.
I enjoyed running it both years. Last year, I did feel like it was a bit more chillier
Yeah?
in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm Kenyan, so I love the heat.
Doing the heat.
So I do enjoy running in warm weather. I know a lot of people don't.
The
A lot of
summer, the
people-
summer was hard
the
to
summer was
train.
hard for a lot
rough.
of people.
Yeah, yeah, right? We made it.
Very rough.
Honestly, I think all of us who made it through 16 weeks of this heat and humidity,
We
we all
deserve-
deserve that medal, right? Yeah, it was a rough
tough.
summer.
I told you I'd see you at the finish line.
Hi, how are you? I'm good. I'm happy to end my season here, and yeah, I finished about 50 seconds ago, so I'm a little winded, but I'm good.
Right. So, did you meet your goal today?
I didn't really have a goal. I just wanted to get out and run fast and be competitive, and I ran low 420s, so that's a good day.
And you're back here now in New York, and you have a medal that you brought back from Brazil. Tell me, how does that feel?
It feels so great to be able to have the 2016 season go so well and have that memory of the medal forever.
Now, tell me this. What advice do you have for new runners?
Just discipline. You have to really be consistent, and a lot of people go out and they buy a new workout outfit and new shoes and then get on a good program for a week or a month, and you really need to be consistent enough to be able to get fit enough to enjoy it. A lot of people just go out and it's hard for professional athletes, it's hard for everyone, and I think sometimes people give up a little too soon, that you really have to be consistent and disciplined, and it always is painful to run, and it's always difficult. If it's not hard, you're not doing it right. So just stick with it, and the feeling of having a good run, it trumps all of that.
And what are you doing next? What are your goals for the rest of this year?
I'm done. I'm going home. So my goals are to eat some good food and sleep a lot and spend time with my family.
Okay, that sounds great. Congratulations.
In fact, we all know Chicago is one of the 6 major marathons, or marathon majors, and New York is another one coming up. Right? All right, and New York, we love New York because we're New Yorkers, and New York's the biggest marathon in the world. But what are your thoughts about people who like to run back-to-back marathons?
My thoughts, I say do it. Yeah. But I kind of prepare them for the
For the injury they're about to have?
well, not necessarily the injury, but just for the mental, a lot of it, the mental part of it, because sometimes after you finish one full marathon, mentally, to go back there in a short space of time, like sometimes you may not be ready. So people who sign up for it, I'm always like encouraging, like, sure, why not? I'll help you get there. But then I say, let's reevaluate after.
So do you have your runners approach the first marathon as a training run and the second one as a race, vice versa?
That's something we agree on. Some, depending on some want a PR in Chicago because it's flatter.
Yeah.
Some want a PR in New York because they're from New York. So I kind of just, they
Totally different race,
Yeah,
though, right?
totally,
Totally
yeah.
different race,
Big time.
completely different course.
So I just try to get them to figure out which race will be their A race, and from there we adjust the training.
Yeah, Bay ran back-to-back marathons last year. yeah. How'd you feel? Was one better than the other? Do you regret it, or was it a good thing for you to do?
Last year I ran Chicago, and 3 weeks later I ran New York. And I was fine. I recovered well. again, no pain after both races. And that's why after Chicago, since I did not get injured, I decided that I was, okay to proceed to New York. If I was injured, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So like Coach Marlon was saying, it's good to evaluate where you stand after one marathon and whether or not you're physically able and mentally prepared to do another one in 3 weeks. Now, what did help is for that 3-week period, maintaining the body weight strength training exercises. So I wasn't pounding as much. I already did the long run.
Right, exactly.
Chicago was the long run for New York. So the running part I had down packed. Now I wanted to maintain my, core strength, my back strength.
New York this
Legs.
year is 4 weeks off of Chicago, and last year it was 3 weeks off of Chicago, and we were discussing the idea that extra week may just be enough to throw you off your training. So how do you hold on to your training and fitness without trying to restart all over again in that month?
I think very important, of course, is like taking that week right after Chicago to, depending on whatever type of damage you did, because running a marathon does a lot of damage. Just taking that time to not run back into running too fast and just really see like, how am I feeling? Like, or where's feeling what, or I have a pain here, this side feels good, or I'm dehydrated, I'm feeling a little sicky or something. And then from then you say, okay, we have this amount of time, let's start back this way. But
let me lead into another topic, and this has to do a little bit with more of the medical side of things that I think about for myself and my husband, who also does a lot of long distance running, and friends of mine. Lots of us are traveling to run, and we travel pretty far to run these long races, half marathons and marathons, and I see people jumping right back on a plane, even the same day, and that is really a recipe for potential problems. And what I'm most concerned about are people developing deep vein thrombosis, which are blood clots in the deep veins of the legs, which can, in the worst case scenario, actually lead to something we call a pulmonary embolus, when some of that fresh clot travels out of the venous system through the pulmonary circulation and clots off one of the major pulmonary arteries, and it can actually be fatal. The things that can lead to deep vein thrombosis, or DVT, are local trauma in the tissues, which happens when you run a marathon, having nothing to do with being fit or unfit. It's part of the process of running the marathon. Dehydration. So you come out of the race very dehydrated, both whole body dehydrated and locally in the tissues. And then there's a very profound inflammatory response that happens in the tissues from the trauma. So there's all sorts of fancy things that are happening down there, which is why things can actually start getting a little worse before they get better. So I tell friends, family, and myself that at a minimum, you really need to wait 24 hours to get on a plane. And if you're not going to, and a lot of people don't because you need to get back to work and family and other obligations, you have to hydrate. You have to make sure you're up on the plane, moving as much as you can with your legs elevated, and those compression sleeves and compression socks that we all like to wear during the run, which probably aren't doing a whole lot of anything during the run. They're actually useful.
They look good though.
They look fashionable, and we all want to look cute when we run. And I think it makes us feel like we run fast when we're not fast runners. But they're probably not doing a whole lot of anything during the run. But it's after the run, and especially if you're going to jump back on that plane. So, Bay, I think you have some hose with you, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Let's show people what those look like. And these are some fancy ones.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
These are fancy ones from a big fancy company. But
you can get them at
you can get them anywhere. Yep.
Any sports
and you
store,
don't
any
even
brand.
you don't even need to buy them at a sporting store. You can even just go to any I won't name names, but you can go to any pharmacy type store that carries medical supplies in the back and get an over-the-counter cheapo surgical compression hose. they're all the same thing. They're a little tighter down at the ankle and foot, and they get a little bit less tight as you go up the leg, and that, we call it graduated compression, helps to move the fluid up and out of the leg. So that's really important, and I think everyone who runs long distance and certainly is traveling after the long distance run, really good idea to get the hose on, drink a lot of water, don't drink alcohol because you're celebrating. All that does is get you more dehydrated. It's fun and it feels good, but not if you're getting back on the plane, right?
So I have a
Sorry.
I have a question. So this fit, or what about the footless one or the full pant?
So the concern about the ones that have no foot, that are just the calf sleeves, is that actually it's going to act like a tourniquet.
Okay.
So you may find that your foot actually ends up puffing up like a blueberry because you've got this tourniquet effect at the ankle.
Okay.
It's better to wear with the feet,
With the feet.
because now the whole pressure gradient starts. It's sort of like rolling a toothpaste tube.
Okay.
You're going to keep all that fluid moving out of the leg and keep things circulating from the foot all the way up. So
didn't
you end up
realize.
with the blueberry foot and the skinny calf,
Swollen feet.
but that's no good. And the other thing that we need to be concerned about and careful with is how much Tylenol we're taking while we're running and after the run, and all the other anti-inflammatories that we all pop.
Do some people take it while they run?
Yeah, you really need to be careful because the anti-inflammatories are metabolized by the kidney, and if you combine that kidney effect with on top of dehydration, that's a potential setup for some kidney issues. That's why you're never supposed to really give runners Tylenol or the other anti-inflammatories on the run. And when we do, we put a little red dot on the bib so that we know that this runner already got something. The Tylenol is a different medication. It's metabolized by the liver. So it's not really the same set of concerns. But
So you're part of the medical team. You're part of the
Right.
marathon
So
medical team, so you would know.
Yeah, I'm working on the medical team for New York. And we don't want to see anyone in the tent. But we don't want people to have problems
past.
after, when you get home,
good to
too.
know.
So lots of things are happening in the body after the long run. That's why we all hurt the next day. There's a lot of micro trauma. There's a lot of stuff going on in the leg. We're going to be right back, and then there's going to be one last announcement for the local New York runners. We'll be back. Conversation phase.
I am well, thank you.
Tell me, why is it important to run this race today?
Well, I've heard about this many over the years. I used to live on the Upper East Side, and I never took part in it because I always thought it was too short. But it's actually really challenging, and to come out here and represent a lot of different things that I'm involved with, including Team for Kids and CC Sabathia's Pitch In Foundation and the autism organization I'm working with, it makes it worth it. So, and I had a good time too.
So now you're not going to sleep on those mile runs anymore?
No, not at all. You feel like a mile when you're training for a marathon. A mile is short until you realize you want to sprint and you can't. But I was satisfied with what I did there. I think it was 6:15 or something like that.
So what's your goals for the rest of the year?
I'm running another marathon, the New York City Marathon in November, and just want to keep getting stronger and healthier. I haven't figured out the marathon yet. About mile 20, my body says, all right, you're done. So I need to figure out those last 6 miles.
And what is your advice for new runners?
Don't look at your clock so much. So many times we want to follow a prescribed plan and try to hit it dead on every single time. But your body is not a piece of paper, and you have to listen to it. It took me a couple years to figure that out, but that's my best advice.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome back. I've got one last announcement before we wrap up this awesome show that we just had. I'm going to make an announcement about a 5K rave run that's going to take place in Central Park Sunday, November 13th. It meets up at 4 o'clock, and it meets up at Merchants Gate. This run is being put on by several local New York running clubs. It's to bring awareness about some of the dangers of running in the dark that a lot of us runners face. We know there's been several very unfortunate events that have happened in the New York City area and and other areas where runners have actually been murdered. So we're trying to bring awareness to some of the safety issues that face us as runners, men and women, one of which is that we need better lighting on our paths. Yeah. So this is a 5K. It's called Light Up the Night, the 5K Rave Run, Sunday, November 13th, 4 o'clock. There's going to be a ton of runners. It's going to be an awesome way to meet up and support each other and start to demand what we really need to keep our sport safe. Okay, so let's all be there and support that effort. Finally, I'd like to say thank you to Coach Marlin.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you to Lean Strong Fast for being here. And thank you to the amazing Bay for coming, sharing her experience. Such a good friend and a great runner. Thank you. And finally, thank you to Coach Nicole, everyone else who's watched the show. We enjoy bringing you up to speed at conversation pace.
Fantastic. I broke 6 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you do it?
How did I do it? It's like less than 6 minutes and 15 years of running.
15 years. Okay. Wonderful. So you're seasoned. So I want you to tell me, what advice do you have for new runners?
The great Frank Handelman said, it's better to be 10% undertrained than 1% overtrained. Avoid injuries. This is my friend Dan Malloy.
Hi, how are you?
Dan.
Hi, Nicole. I'm good. Well, I'll let you know in a minute.
Yeah.
But it was, short and sweet. I'm glad it's over. 100% effort, though. That was cool. Good job.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I get to run with people. I get to see my buddies.
And it's
we have fun. Great camaraderie. And you can always do more than you think. In the last 100, I felt pretty good for a 65-year-old, you know.
And two things.
Yeah.
One is it's the only race in the Road Runners where you could see the finish line from the halfway point. And the other thing is you only start sweating after it's done.
That's great.
So great.
Good job,
Wonderful for everybody to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Work it in, work it up, work it up. Work it all the way down, tear it up.
Hit it, girl.
Hi. So you've been covering this event for a while.
I'm not covering it. I'm here to enjoy it.
You're here to enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, I love runners. You know, I've done a lot of racing myself. I've done 33 marathons, but I love being around runners. This is my special feeling race. I just had a woman 101 flirting with me. I didn't make the cut, did not make the cut, but we're going to do a story about her, and her specialty is the 100-yard dash, all right? So if you're lying in bed doing nothing, that was 101, okay?
So tell me, what's so special? A lot of people have been talking about how special this race is. Tell me, why do they feel that way, and why do you feel this way?
Well, I've been tweeting out, and I've been on Facebook, just saying things that coming right from my heart through my mouth, like 65 years old, a 5-minute and 30-second mile. Come on, man. I mean, come on. 70 years old, sub 6-minute mile. I mean, so I'm the kind of guy that likes to be inspired. I don't feel like I'm that resourceful that I can't be inspired. So when it comes to physical and moving, these are the people and this is the race. This is it.
Now, I'm a new runner myself, and there are a lot of new runners out there that need inspiration.
Yeah.
So give me some of those inspirational words that you have for those people.
Yeah, I don't know if they're words, but I'll give you a couple. In the wintertime, put your sneakers by your bed. And the reason is when your feet hit the cold floor, that don't work. So when your feet hit sneakers, that means it's business. Second of all, pick somebody to run with that you really enjoy and has a little kick to them. Not only pleasant, but a little kick. When I started out, I had an ex-Marine train me, and I would fall at 5:30 in the morning on pavement. I used to be a school teacher before I went to school, and I wanted to just go to sleep on the pavement, and he said, get up. So get someone you like and someone who's got a little kick that you think they're so crazy, but they inspire you and you enjoy them.
That's great. Thank you. It's an honor to speak with you.
There's one more thing. It's an honor for you. There's one more thing. For anybody out there and for everybody out there, I've noticed as I go through the journey in life, you got to keep moving. No matter what, you got to keep moving. This woman that I'm looking at, Ida, who rejected me, by the way, she's with another guy right now. I'm going to have to stop before I cry. She hasn't sat down. She hasn't sat down yet. Okay, so we're going to do a story about her, and you guys are great. Who's this cameraman? He's got no tape in there.
So on coming back from Brazil with a medal, tell me, how does that feel?
Oh, it's tremendous, you know. Still hasn't really set in. It's been obviously, I think it's like every runner's dream as soon as they get in the sport to win an Olympic gold. It's a lifelong dream, it's a lifelong goal, and when you finally accomplish it, I mean, it's just really, it's just speechless, you know. I'm just in disbelief still, but it's great to come back here in the U.S. and get to celebrate with some friends and family now.
Is this your first race since Brazil?
No, I went over to Europe for a 1K, and then I came over here for that mile.
Okay, so this is your first one back in the States?
Yes.
All right, cool. So have you run this one before, the New York?
Yeah, this is my fourth time.
Your fourth time. Okay, and you were speaking of goals. You know, what is your goal following this race? Your running goal?
I'm just gonna take some time off now. Yeah, just enjoy the rest of the year and gear up for next year.
All right, and one more thing for new runners, what advice do you have for them?
Enjoy it. I mean, you know, every day it gets obviously a little stressful and it's tough. But if I could say tell them one thing, it's to build relationships along the way and just enjoy every step of it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.